Hi everyone, welcome to my channel License to Roam. For this analysis, I'll be focusing on Kai Havertz's superb showing in Germany's smashing 5-1 victory over Scotland to kick off their Euro campaign. Obviously deployed in his false nine role, but he's also excelled in at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. Havertz did a fine job spearheading Nagelsmann's attack, obviously having bagged 9 goals and 6 assists in his last 14 Premier League matches for the Gunners. The 25-year-old yet again silenced his doubters to prove his worth with his intelligence, varied movement, technical wizardry, and interactions with his teammates shining brightly. Obviously, while his goal and assist really drew the headlines, his movement was certainly the key feature of his display. Constantly offering himself as an outlet to connect attacks, his shrewd spatial awareness and positional sense granted him the platform to be such a force. Obviously, as we look through the graphics, obviously a great place to start is just that dropping deep in between the lines there, behind the midfield line of the opponents there. And obviously with his fellow partners in crime doing such a good job at pinning markers and always rotating positions like Havertz did, it just often freed him up nicely to be that connector between the midfield and the attack. So really clever work there, timing it really nice when the passing lanes opened. And he was just always there buzzing around, making a nuisance of himself for Scotland. Obviously, here's another nice example where he's noticed that the midfielders there, obviously the likes of Gundogan, Musiala and Wirtz, they're sort of operating in those areas around him. Those attacking midfielders, they've opened the passing lane, and Havertz has noticed that, and he's ducked into the space to supply Kroos with an excellent option. He's such a pass master. He's got the vision to spot that. So just really clever work once again. And obviously that dropping deep, a key byproduct of that was it would draw defenders out, often making space in behind for runners, just as you can see in this example here. Knowing that he's such a threat, they're in two minds whether to leave him, let him drop or follow him. And obviously either way, it's pretty tough because you don't want him getting on the ball in between the lines so he can turn. And also you don't want to leave space in behind for runners with that coordinated movement, the opposite movements. Just obviously his teammates see him dropping and use that as a trigger to get him behind, to see that space. And obviously the ball holder, whether it be Kroos or any other midfielder, they're awake to that and quickly pop the ball over the top there and they're away. Obviously another key feature of the German attacking effort was that close proximity between each other so they could engage in fast sort of combination play and just open up room for each other and discombobulate the back line. It obviously also was quite conducive for counter-pressing once they lost the ball, which they also did really well. With that densely populated central area, they could just swarm on Scotland and make those high regains. But as you can see here, Havertz is pinning those two markers there, and there's just 3 men between the lines there. Kroos has his options there to pinpoint them, so just that sort of amplified his menace as well. This is another great example of the close proximity. Obviously, they can engage, quick combination, and then unlock the Scottish backline. And obviously a key to that was obviously they're at different heights and depths, but they can also get the ball into forward-facing players, so then they enjoy the field of view to instantly play that pass in behind. So much upside attached to his work here and his teammates, and it really paid dividends from Germany. Obviously his movement and the way he drew opponents was so key, and there was sort of the best example was definitely for the Wirtz goal where his runs, drawn those 2 markers there. Wirtz darts into the space as they collapse deeper onto Havertz, and he's got all that room to weigh things up and hit that finish in beautifully. Just another way that Havertz' impact was amplified. Another great one here where the sort of threat in behind of Havertz, because he's actually very fast, a little bit underrated with the acceleration and speed, and we'll touch on that later. But yeah, just that threat in 2 minds of defenders, causing confusion. In that situation, Gundogan just darts in and he's completely free to turn there. So Havertz obviously stamping his mark with the way his presence just occupied markers, and his teammates were well aware of that to sort of duck into those dangerous central spaces. Another situation there where he's pinning his marker there, and that makes room for Gundogan to just dart into that channel as well. So essentially making a little 3v2 there to get in behind. So yeah, Havertz definitely played his role in that one too. They just don't want to leave him be because he's just so tough to mark, and he's always altering reference points and never letting anyone settle into a rhythm of how to stop them. And that was same for Germany as a whole. They were always rotating, interchanging, darting in and out of space. And obviously the scoreline, whilst they were short-handed, Scotland was a testament to how good Germany was too. Nice situation there where Gundogan perfectly in between the lines in that side-on posture having scanned, and he's ready to instantly turn and get forward-facing and just wreak havoc there with his teammates to really put pressure on that backpedaling, retreating Scottish backline there. So it's another really cool passage of how he helped his team there. And obviously the presence of Havertz was so vital also as a great target man and reference point and focal point to link the play and to get his team up the pitch when they needed to go long. So obviously he won all 4 of his aerial duels, but just the way his teammates would also get around him and support him, so he had a layoff option. And yeah, it's just a huge asset and another really important string to his bow, which also helps his team for crosses and set pieces, how his aerial prowess just gives him that little bit of an extra dimension and attack, which definitely the spotlight needs to be shined more on. And obviously the rotation, sometimes he'd pull out wide as well. Obviously with the close proximity in central areas, they rotated really well and were constantly dovetailing, but he also got out wide every now and then just to mix things up and to make those little disconnects in the back line for runners to exploit the various channels and gaps all over, really. So just another way he sort of caused dilemmas for Scotland. And then here's another one after rotating out wide, really clever run in behind, and he can get on the ball and assess his options, and just another way he wreaked havoc. So basically in front of and in behind the defence and wide in true central midfield areas, he basically did it all, brought so much to the table with his movement and the way he executed his rotations and interchanged with his teammates. And obviously a testament to that smart running in behind was for Musiala's goal, where Havertz angled his run nicely. Gundogan played him in superbly. Havertz assessed the situation, remained composed, and then obviously fed the ball back to Musiala, who did the rest. But just really nice, another way that he stamped his mark on proceedings here. That pace, energy, intensity, so good. Really great performance there by Havertz. His average position map here just showing in those central areas, leading the line really well, constantly asking questions of opponents. Yeah, and there's the pass connections map. Obviously, you can see the close proximity is with those most advanced Germany players, and it was really sort of conducive for that combination play to really kickstart and breathe life into attacks and just always keep Scotland on their toes and just unbalanced all the time and manipulating their shape. So immense credit to Germany's coach and their players for getting the best out of the system and really making it work. And obviously, there's his heat map just showing how he varied things up, moving all over the pitch and just never letting Scotland settle into a pattern of how best to stop him. So obviously on top of his goal and an assist, his 2 shots, those 4-1 aerial duels, as we mentioned before, and 3 touches inside the area just sort of punctuated his nice body of work there, where often a lot of the stuff that he did is hard to measure statistically. So you can sort of measure some of those things tangibly, but the stuff that he does off the ball is just so crucial and vital to the way Germany play and progress up the pitch and create chances and just compound issues for defenders trying to stop them. It's such a difficult task for anyone. So that'll be really cool to see how they progress throughout the tournament, because they're certainly looking like a major force to be reckoned with, as Havertz spearheads the attack so well, as he's sort of silencing the critics. Many people saying heading in that they should play with a dedicated out-and-out striker like Füllkrug, but Havertz is certainly proving why he's the man to lead the line at this point. So how highly do you rate Havertz? Would love to hear your thoughts, and can Germany go all the way? Pop any comments down below. So thanks again. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Would really appreciate it. Obviously, thank you again for taking the time to watch, and have a great day. Stay tuned for the next analysis.